We're interested in exploring and experimenting with a seemingly simple idea or a seemingly simple question. What is the relationship of the things that we build with the things in the context that surround them? So what is the relationship between our buildings, our artwork, our cities, and the context that surrounds them? And for us, that context could be temperature, weather, climate, people, social media feeds, internet or online kind of open accessible information. One of the projects that we recently done at the Yerba Buena Center, but Lightswarm explores, let's say, the sonic qualities of the city. In this case, we were really interested in exploring the sonic qualities of the city and the kind of way that buildings, in this case, could actually respond to sound that surrounds them. So this is the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts. The installation was embedded in the facade that faces Moscone Gardens and the Metreon movie theater. And we were really interested in kind of testing out the ability of our buildings to actually respond to data. So could they sense and respond to data? So instead of building facades actually sealing out everything that comes from the outside and completely blocking that kind of possible relationship that could exist between an interior space and an exterior space, what could actually happen if they actually became dynamic urban interfaces? So Lightswarm occupies this kind of large-scale facade, and there's a series of vibration sensors embedded in the facade. So as you walk up to it and clap maybe, or tap the glass, or a bus goes by, or an airplane flies up in the sky close, these vibration sensors capture that motion, and then a swarm of, in this case, pink light actually animates the facade and kind of moves through the larger window that faces the public park. I'd like to share with you a project that is currently underway. So I'm showing renderings because we're in prototyping phase. But this is a much larger scale project in Washington, D.C. It's the kind of, so north of Union Station, there's a series of underpasses where Amtrak, Metro North, all of the train tracks basically come right into Union Station. And there's a series of really dark underpasses that actually separate two very, very distinctly different neighborhoods that are growing and rapidly changing. So here you're seeing the kind of larger context. And we won a competition to light the underpass. The competition was a lighting competition to actually kind of provide adequate lighting underneath in these kinds of spaces with a kind of arts component to it. So Lightweave weaves these two neighborhoods through light. It actually kind of connects and kind of, it's almost like urban tissue that kind of connects the two sides of the neighborhood. And Lightweave responds to people moving through. So there's a series of cameras that actually track you and provide adequate lighting for you as you move through the tunnel. So there'll be, let's say, safety lighting for most of the time, but as you walk through this really long tunnel, probably every day if you're a commuter, or maybe every now and then as you're crossing through, the cameras would actually track you and kind of give you almost like an aura to move through. The project just passed the Federal Commission of Fine Arts. It's an interesting and curious project because all four sides of this volume are owned by a different entity. So the ground is basically regulated by one entity, the wall by another, the roof by the train, maybe 3 train lines, and then the street by someone else. So we're only allowed to touch the ground to do this piece. So it's proven to be an interesting yet complex kind of set of, let's say, parameters to take on. But our idea with this project is that it actually evolves, it changes, it actually maybe provides some sort of an animated environment underneath this space, but it also becomes part of the infrastructure. And for us, that's a kind of really interesting aspect of this scale of work. At a certain point, we're also talking about it sometimes queuing into the vibration of the trains above, because there's a train station close by. So maybe if the lights changed color, you knew that your train was coming. So you'd actually be able to read artwork in this case as part of infrastructure, the same way that you get the train time from your phone. The last project that I wanted to share with you guys is called Murmur Wall, and this is actually up right now at Yerba Buena Gardens in downtown San Francisco. So it's on Mission Street and the kind of pathway that leads to the Moscone Center Convention Center. And this piece operates at a very different scale. I would say it's a much more intimate scale. Murmur Wall actually feeds into, on the one hand, the Internet of Things. It's actually pulling data from the Internet, but it's also giving passersby the ability to post to it. So Murmur Wall actually captures it captures trending search terms in a half-mile radius. So it gives you a sense of what people in a half-mile radius from San Francisco, kind of downtown, are actually searching for. So in our mind's eye, that's like a way to kind of understand what's actually going on in the city, because people are actually searching for those terms or interested in finding out more information about these things. And I'd like to share a quick video that will maybe talk a little bit about the process.